Hey everybody, Thomas here. Oh my goodness, I am so happy. Today is what, the 28th, 29th September? 29th September, that's what it is. First day that I don't think we actually got over 71 degrees. This is like the first day this year without getting over 71 degrees. Beautiful blue skies in the background there. Hopefully I'll post it in the way. I'm trying to stay out of the wind a little bit because the wind is definitely up. Beautiful skies, beautiful green grass, cool air. I've got, like pretty much feel carefree right now because this is one step closer to deer season, aka best time of the year. So really look forward to that. Today, what we're gonna do is we have some oak here on the sawmill. I've got a customer who dropped this off a little while back, and he's looking to get some 1x boards out of this. And I've got another section way over there in a pile that he's wanting to get some boards for benches and stuff like that. So the goal is here, I think I've got plenty of room to work with. This is the small end. I should easily get a 12x12 cant. So once I get a 12x12 cant, I'm going to break that cant in half and do a lot of 1x6 boards. A 1x12 board, I really wouldn't feel comfortable cutting that for someone because I know it's going to cut, especially in red oak and stuff like that. But a 1x6, I feel pretty comfortable. It's stickered and stacked correctly. It should not move. Plus, he'll get quite a few out of here, and it'll be some beautiful stock to work with. So I got the mill warming up. We got the log orientated the best way that I can because there's a check on the other side. I'm pretty much splitting right down the middle of that check when I cut this log in half. But just the weather, you have no idea how happy I am about this weather. I am just stoked about this weather. Hopefully, I'm trying to use this post here as a little wind break. Hopefully the wind's not too loud on this. We'll go ahead and get a time lapse going together. I'll get this into a 12x12 cant and we'll go from there. So stay tuned, here we go. All right, folks, that worked out pretty well. We went ahead and got this into a 12 by something. I don't remember what the other dimension is, but I cut it in half right at the 6-inch mark, so we'll be getting our 1x6s out of this. Hopefully my camera's not moving too much around the wind. Now, I will say this. I don't know of a lot of mills, other than like Timber King, possibly Cooks, really that could do a cut like that. This is close to 16 inches. I don't remember what it is though, but it's really close. But no, actually, excuse me, this is more than 16 inches. This right here is close to about 1.5 feet or so, not half, about a foot or so. So the fact that I did that center cut there and everything, I was still able to clear without taking anything off. Now these boards here, they're cutting pretty clean. I'm happy thus far. The customer I think is going to be really happy because I'm actually getting some 1.5-inch boards off here that he could easily make into shelves or benches or something like that. So getting me down to my 12x6 denomination here, well, excuse me, this is 12 inches. These are 6. Once I rotate this log next, then I'll be slicing down on a 1-inch scale and going from there. This is going to look really pretty. And the boards, essentially, yeah, a lot of these are going to be almost quarter sawn or rift sawn. These are going to be pretty clean looking boards here, so I'm looking forward to cut anything into a 12 by 12 and then cut that 12 by 12 in either 1 by 6s or 2 by 6s, you're going to get quite a bit of quarter sawn and rift sawn wood, which is always exciting, especially in oak, because you get to see all those medullary rays. So all that, what they call flecking and medullary rays. So high-end furniture workers, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, most folks like to see that in some of their wood projects. It looks really cool, and it's also a very stable cut of the wood. It doesn't tend to move a whole lot, and it's very strong. So let me go ahead and get these off of here. We'll go there. That's the thing about oak, though. Everything about oak, yeah, it's hard, I guess, to cut sometimes, but it's just so heavy. It's very dense wood. Red oak, pretty dense. White oak being a little more dense. Live oak being, I think, the densest of the oaks. AKA, I don't like cut live oak. It just cuts slow. Now the cool thing is, even though I've got these into, you know, 2 6 by whatever cans, so I'm going to guesstimate these are 6 by 14 or 6 by 15 cans, 2 of them. I can still rotate this with the hydraulics. The hydraulics on this mill, you know, on a log like this is where those hydraulics come in. They come in handy. If you look back at the time lapse and everything, you'll see this log is moved around like a toy. I mean, these hydraulics have no problem moving this thing around, and it got me. The only thing I had to take off was the wood. I mean, I didn't have to touch the log anywhere else, no cant hook or whatsoever. The only time I really use my cant hook is if I have something that's really small, or if I have a delicate piece of wood that I'm cutting for a customer that I'm trying to limit the use of the log turner. There are some applications where I want to save the face of a piece of wood, and I'll use like a piece of wood, like a scrap piece on the cant hook to help turn it around. And especially with a log dog, I'll use like a small scrap piece of wood if it's a really pretty piece of wood, so I don't dig into that surface. So we'll go and crank the sawmill back up again, and we'll turn this 90 degrees, and then we'll get onto the 1-inch scale. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this 90 degrees. I'll show you that kind of real time everything. Then we'll have to figure out what our height is here. Maybe I'll do 1 cut. Once I turn this 90 degrees, I'll do 1 cut and everything. And then I'll figure out how many boards I'll get out of that after that, and then we'll go from there. Stay tuned. Here we go. Oh, and the oak smells good. Oak is actually one of the woods I love to smell because it smells like wine. It smells really good, like a red wine. Love it. Turn my water on. I am getting low on water, so for the next time lapse, I will have to change out the water. What you got there is I turned it, I got the now that I'm not yelling so much, I actually did 2 cuts there. The top one's actually slightly more than 1 inch, but it would have been a very, very small skim cut. So I went ahead and left that one the way it is. And I'll let the customer know that those top boards are just slightly more. I'd say it's about 2/16 more than, what do you call it, 1 inch board. So again, on this video, we showed pretty much every aspect of the hydraulics on this mill with the exception of the loader. I use my log stops all the time. I mean, you cannot beat a vertical log stop. I mean, I don't think there's any other name, like big brand company other than Timber King that uses these vertical log stops. If you're dealing, or if you've ever dealt with a sawmill that has the sweeps, you'll know how much of a pain that can be. These vertical log stops are like the best. I mean, that's one of my favorite features about this mill. We also use the toe boards both forward and aft, and also right there whenever I clean that bark out, I use both toe boards to lift up the entirety of the log. Now I can also use those toe boards to lift the log up and slide it forward or back. That's always pretty nice. I don't use it much, but I do have that ability. I've done that before when I'm cutting something that's like 20 foot long and I'm just at the edge of where the sawmill can cut. I need to move it back and forth. That's a great way to fine tune. And then of course, I mean, the hydraulic head up and down, all that good stuff. So the hydraulics in this mill, turning those logs, especially a log of this size, I mean, that would have been, I would have struggled a little bit with a cant hook to move a red oak log this size easily. I mean, it would have been, you know, no doubt, that would have been kind of difficult. But with these hydraulics, I didn't even break a sweat. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and throw in a time lapse as we finish up this log, and then we'll kind of figure out where we get. I'm going to get 14 on either side, so I'll get 28 1x6 boards for the customer out of this. I think you'll be very happy with this. I'm going to be very happy when I start looking at some of these and see what they look like. Now, the pith does kind of cross into both pieces of the cants. I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal, but there might be a board or two that's kind of throwaway, but we'll see how it plays out. All right, so stay tuned. For the conclusion here, we'll go and do a time lapse, and I'll talk about something at the end. Stay tuned. Thanks. So how about that, folks? Isn't that just a gorgeous stack of wood? These are all 1x6 by, I don't know, 9, maybe 10 foot long red oak. Pretty dense wood and everything. So I don't know how I was calculating, but anyways, I got 26 1x6. And again, the top ones here slightly thicker than 1x6. Overall though, it's a handsome stack of lumber right there. I mean, it was cutting great. I made a absolute metric ton of sawdust. But very good looking boards. I think the customers are going to be very excited about this. One of the things I like to do, and I've talked about this before, but if you see currently, I have those toe boards lifted up. And that gives me enough clearance underneath here to actually get the forks of the tractor and lift this off easily. Now, one thing you always got to take in consideration is if you take your forks too far, hit this energy chain, well, you might be in a world of hurt. I don't know. That would be pretty bad if you knocked that sucker off, because from what I hear, those are kind of difficult to put back together. Knock on wood, I haven't had that happen to me yet, nor do I want that to happen to me, nor do I want that to happen to anyone else. So please be mindful of the energy chain there. So yeah, I'm excited. The customer's gonna be super excited about this. I'll be getting this to him hopefully this week. And in fact, later on today, I have another customer picking up some cypress. So I'll show that here in just a second. once I get these boards put out. But the cypress that I cut up the other day, absolutely gorgeous, and it was a kind of a first to be cutting bald cypress on here. I've mostly cut sinker cypress, but that was a first for the bald cypress. So one of the other things I want to talk about, if you're a follower of the channel, let me get you a little bit better background there. Here we go. If you are a follower of the channel, if you look at my last video, or heck, you can just look at this one. You don't have to look at the last one. I don't really care one way or the other. But I want to make sure everyone knows, again, the 24th of October up in Tennessee is when we're going to be doing our Sawmill show. We'll have the 1400 mil, the diesel mill, the 2000 diesel mill, the 718 planer, and sharpener and setter from Timber King, and sharpener and setter from Cooks. So again, it's going to be a fun day by all. Looking forward to it. I've had some pretty good feedback thus far. Folks in the kind of in the local area are very excited because they didn't want to meet some other sawyers, and so am I. I'm super excited, and like I said, it's also the start of my deer season. Deer season actually started up there last weekend up in Tennessee, bow season. So I'm looking forward to getting some bow hunting in as well. And again, this is literally the best time of the year. I mean, we were talking cooler weather, deer season, and it's time to cut some of my big stuff that's been sitting out here for a while. I always like to cut in the fall time here because the temperature starts to drop, but also humidity starts to drop. If I cut middle of the summer, what I find is on certain species of woods, I get a lot of mold to start occurring, even if it's stick and stack. But if I get that initial dry time in the fall / winter and early spring, I'm pretty good. But if I wait until summertime to start cutting, sometimes it's very difficult to get that initial dry on the wood. Plus, it may dry too fast based on the heat. So I find cutting the fall, winter, and spring here is kind of the best time. Summer, I try not to cut my bigger objects or bigger logs unless I absolutely have to. But I'll talk about that more later. I think one of the logs I'm going to be cutting, I got a hickory log I've got to get cut up because it's sitting there too long. I've got a lot of sycamore. I'm really looking forward to the sycamore. Sycamore down here in the south spalts really, really fast. And I've had these logs now for 10 months. They are probably spalted, and I need to get into them before they actually turn into nothing but wormholes. So that'll be happening here soon. Once I get this oak job done, I've got some pine to do. Sycamore is next up on the chopping block. So stay tuned. Enjoy having all the subscribers and all the comments and everything. And I just put this out there for fun. This is just fun, something to do, and I hope I'm helping someone either to decide on what equipment to get, or to, you know, want to cut their own wood and knowing like what species to cut, or how to cut something. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'm here. Thanks. We'll see you around. Thanks.